here. It's finally time. After my long quest across islands, mountains, seas, countries, Scotland, I'm finally here. The Dark Goddess's stronghold. Rumors say that she's the most evil being on this planet. With her powerful magic and desire to be cruel and slaughter, her reputation is that of the worst being to exist on this land. Nobody has dared challenge her for 20 years after my brother, a brave knight such as myself, entered her stronghold and disappeared. I have trained since to embark upon this rescue mission and reclaim my brother, or at least take my revenge upon the being who took him from me. What's that sound? The ground was shaking. I looked out into the darkness of the room but couldn't see what was causing the noise. It got closer and grew louder and louder until...
Well, what do we have here?
A gigantic shoe lunged out of the darkness and came crashing down into the floor beside me. I followed it up with my eyes past the knee, up the waistline, and up even more until I saw the face glaring down at me.
Hello, tiny mortal. Welcome to my domain. You've made a big mistake coming here, for I will capture you easily!
Her laugh was like thunder, rattling from clouds high above. I froze hearing her voice and couldn't say a word, I was so frightened. Then, out of the darkness loomed her massive hand, and she scooped me up before I could utter a word.
Now let's put you in your cage before we start torturing you. I'm so glad to have another mortal to torture. It's been ever such a long time.
It was completely dark within her giant fist. The only indication that I was still alive and breathing was that I could hear her voice, accompanied by her echoing footsteps. I fear I passed out for a while, for the next I remember I woke up inside a gigantic hanging cage. What? Where am I?
Oh, you didn't die. I'm so glad. I wouldn't be able to torture you if you were dead.
Oh no!
How do you like your new home? It's as terrible as I could possibly make it.
It was only then that I took the time to truly notice my surroundings. My cage was surprisingly neatly furnished with a comfortable-looking bed, chair, and table, and some delicious-looking pizza on the table. The contradictory nature of this observation and her statement made me question her. This is really as evil as you could come up with?
Oh, I knew it wasn't evil enough. Well, no worries about that. You'll surely be devastated when I tell you that you have meals delivered 3 times a day. I should have made a banquet instead. That would have been much more evil. Perhaps I'll do that tomorrow.
Really? Okay, I'm fine with that.
Fine with that? Why aren't you cowering in fear of my terrible tortures and meal options?
Well, I quite like a nice banquet.
Really? Oh, why does this always happen? Every single time I try to torture somebody, they say it's fine, or even in some cases, quite nice. Why don't they cower in fear? I'm the Black Goddess. Surely they should cower from my terrible deeds.
Well, if they were terrible, I probably would cower, but I don't think this is very terrible. How is pizza terrible?
Well, it's terrible for your waistline, that's for certain. It's just so tasty that I can't help gorging on it.
Yeah, well, not exactly the terror I'd been expecting.
Well, what were you expecting? Maybe I could get something organized. We still got years after all.
Well, for starters, I was about to list the most horrible fears I'd been expecting, until I figured that if this was the goddess's image of evil, she must really have no clue at all. Maybe this could be used to my advantage, and maybe, just maybe, my brother would still be alive. It'd be really terrifying if there was a TV with all the newest consoles and games in here. I don't think I'd even be able to stand.
Wow, really? I didn't know video games were that frightening. But okay, take this, mortal!
Then, in a flash of light, the screen appeared in my cage.
Now, kneel down before your powerful goddess!
Wow, you really are good at magic.
Good? Of course I'm good. I'm a goddess. I can do anything, and I will do everything I can to make sure you're as miserable as ever.
Well, in that case, do you know what the worst, most terrible thing I can think of is?
What? Go on!
I'd find it truly dreadful if I could come and go whenever I pleased.
I knew it! The last human said that too! But no matter how dreadful that is, the last human I captured who said that never came back. So I'm afraid I can't let you go, no matter how terrifying it is to you. I need you to be here and be my plaything!
I see. Well, if not that, the second most terrifying thing I can think of would be to have an unlimited supply of Coke.
I see! I never would have guessed terrifying you would have been this easy! Cower in fear as I summon all the Coke you could ever need!
As fearful as I was of meeting the Dark Goddess before, who knew she'd be this stupid or easy to fool? And, just out of curiosity, how long are you planning on keeping me captured here?
You really underestimate my ability to torture you. I'm never going to let you go.
Well, considering my only living family was my brother, I'm not missing that much. If I'm well fed and can play video games, this seems like a pretty great life. Much easier than adventuring and questing. Wait, so you said you let the last human you captured go and he didn't come back?
Hey, I don't like to talk about that. After all, now I've got you here to torture in his place.
Sometime later.
I'm going to kill you! Bow down to my superior skills!
Oh no, come on, I was close that time.
Another game to me! But you aren't too bad for a tiny human.
Well, you've clearly had lots of practice.
Yeah, it's so boring without someone here to torture. All that I can do is play video games and wait for someone to turn up.
By this point, I'd learned more about this Dark Goddess, though much to my simultaneous disappointment and delight, she was far more reasonable than the rumors say she is. She has a personality the size of her body, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like she could harm a fly. Well, not intentionally at least.
Anyway, it's about time for me to have my dinner. Would you care to join me?
Do I have much of a choice?
No! Now stay still!
Her hand reached down into the cage, and I was enshrouded in darkness as she carried me somewhere. The next I saw, I was sitting on a giant table next to a huge pizza.
Now, time for us to eat! I've been most dreadful and made you another pizza for dinner! Your waistline is surely suffering!
Yes, it really is, but you're having pizza too.
Well, I have magic to negate anything like that, but don't count on me helping you out like that. It would hardly be torturous then, would it?
I know, but if I get overweight and fall ill, you won't have anyone to torture anymore, so surely it's in your best interest to keep me alive and well.
I can't decide! If I torture you and you die, then I won't have anyone to torture! But at the same time, if I don't torture you, then I won't have anyone to torture either! This is so confusing!
Well, how about you torture me, but then use your magic to help me out? Then you can do both.
That could work! Wow, I'm glad I got a really clever human to torture this time!
That was the start of my life with the strange Dark Goddess. And it seemed then like my life would continue to be very interesting as I kept spending time with her. I wonder what we'll get up to next.
Humans, heed this visual as a warning to any of you who enter my domain, for I will surely torture you too and trap you in no